So Stalker 2 released just over a week ago now, and earlier today we got our first bug fix patch, which did fix quite a lot of issues. The devs are saying that over 650 bugs have been fixed in the latest patch, including everything from balance to crashes to quests being broken, doors not opening properly, NPCs not interacting. All of these things have been fixed, at least the ones that were known and listed here. However, I have to say that even after this first patch, Stalker 2 is kind of a mess right now. The more you play, the worse it gets. And honestly, I'm getting the impression that the devs polished up the first third or so of the game as much as they could because they know that most people aren't going to play beyond that for at least a couple of weeks to a month or so. And the rest of the game has just been left almost in an unplayable state, I would say. So last week, I did a video where I kind of gave my first impressions, gave an early review, where I said that I didn't think that a lot of the issues, I didn't think that Stalker 2 was as broken as people were making it out to be, and that's because for the first 30 or so hours of my gameplay, it wasn't. There were some odd visual bugs, some NPC bugs, even this weird glitch where I got a random weapon placed into my inventory, but overall wasn't anything game breaking. It wasn't anything super intrusive. I think the game only crashed maybe once for me. I am on PC. I know console guys were having a lot of problems with controllers, but on the PC side of things, for me at least, everything was working. Then I got to around 35 or 40 hours in, which is where I'm going to be talking about in this video. Before I get into that, just leave a like if you enjoy. It helps me out a lot. And comment and tell me what's going on with your game. What kind of issues are you facing? Because I want to know. I want to create a discussion around this. Hopefully the devs can address some of these issues, but let's get into it. So 35-ish hours into the game, I started having major problems. That's when I noticed that there were quests that were part of the main quest that were straight up broken. There was an optional side objective for one where you had to go into a bunker and talk to a NPC. I'm keeping this spoiler light and vague intentionally, just because for those of you that, haven't got to play the game yet, whatever. Anyway, so you have to go into this bunker and talk to this NPC character, and the bunker door is supposed to open automatically, and it just didn't. And there's no way for the player to open it. It just doesn't open, therefore leaving you unable to complete the optional objective of the quest. Now, that wasn't such a big deal at first, because after all, it was an optional objective. But later on the same branch of the quest, you move past a village that's quite crucial to the game, and the village comes under attack. You're supposed to defend it from the attackers. Again, keeping it vague here on purpose. You're supposed to defend the village from the attackers. Unfortunately, what would happen was gunshot sound effects would play, there would be screaming over a radio, but there was no enemy NPCs at first. I reloaded the save, and then I found that there were enemy NPCs, but they weren't doing anything. In fact, all of the NPCs were just standing around doing nothing. Add to this that for some reason I couldn't loot any of the bodies that were on the ground. It had almost seemed like it was supposed to be some sort of cinematic, maybe a cutscene that just didn't trigger, and nothing happened. Now, today's patch did fix this issue. It fixed the issue with the door, it fixed the issue with the village, and characters started to talk, dialogue happened, fighting occurred, and I was thinking, okay, this is great. The issue is fixed, the game is working properly again. And that's when I started to do more of the quests that came after the quests that were previously broken. Well, 2 NPCs randomly just died. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. Based on the context of the quest, it could be, it could not be, it wasn't very clear. But going from there was all sorts of weird spawning issues, and then I went to go and do the next quest, where I was told I had to return because the village was under attack again. No enemy NPCs spawned. In fact, it was the same exact bug that happened before the patch with the earlier part of the quest. Once again, screaming over the radio, gunshot sound effects were playing, but there were no enemy NPCs in sight, and the friendly NPCs that were supposed to fight the invaders kinda just stood there, bunched up, and didn't do anything, making it so that I literally could not progress the quest any further. And because of what would happen after the quest if you don't intervene in the invasion and stop the enemies from attacking, well, it could have some pretty serious long-term implications on the story, and may even alter the ending of the game. This is after the patch that just came out. Stalker 2 is broken right now. It is not completely unplayable. Like I said, the first 20 or 30 hours, depending on how you pace your gameplay, works reasonably well. There are some glitches with AI, some visual bugs, but again, nothing game breaking. But right now, as far as the rest of the game goes, it's broken. They've patched it today. It fixed some earlier stuff, but it is still very broken. And at this point, after 40 plus hours, I honestly cannot recommend Stalker 2 right now. And it pains me to say that because the game is good. The game, when it works, is a lot of fun. The A-Life is an issue. The A-Life still isn't there. That still doesn't work. But other than that, playing through the actual scripted quests, I've been having a great time. The game world is immersive. They've got a lot of new areas. Love the sound design. I love all that stuff. It's great. But when quests start not working, main quests, that's a problem. And right now, I just cannot recommend Stalker 2. The reality of it is, the harsh reality is, we are playing, I wouldn't even say we're playing a beta state of the game. We're playing like an alpha, early access type of game. And the reality of it is, this game needed significantly more time in the oven by, I would say, at least 6 months. Now, I understand why they didn't push it back for more development time, because the reality of it was, if they were going to delay Stalker 2 again, they would have had to delay it by another year. Any game historically that releases outside of the holiday season, especially in more recent years, tends to not do very well, so there's no way that they would have released it outside the holiday season, so we probably would have been waiting until holiday of 2025, and nobody wanted to wait that long, and frankly, I don't think that GSC would have been able to wait that long. I think if they would have delayed Stalker 2 again, Stalker 2 never would have come out. Because at the end of the day, money doesn't grow on trees, employees have to be paid, and then of course you have all the craziness going on in Eastern Europe and Ukraine right now in general. Now, that being said, it's not an excuse for the way things are right now. I do think that there was a lot more going on behind the scenes that we're not privy to, other than the 2022 war and the ongoing effects of that. But at the end of the day, regardless of what's going on, regardless of how anyone feels about whether the game should have been launched right away or whether it should have been delayed or whatever, I cannot recommend Stalker 2 right now. And it pains me to say that because, like I said, I love the game. I think it's a great game when it works, but when it doesn't work, it's kind of a problem. I mean, right now, this game needs months of fixes, and they're supposed to release a multiplayer mode at some point, which, honestly, I mean, this may be a hot take here, but I kind of hope they just cancel the multiplayer mode and focus on the single player, because I, for one, I was never into the original Stalker multiplayers. They always kind of felt like, Mom, I want to play Call of Duty 4. Well, we have Call of Duty 4 at home, and, I mean, not to be rude there, but the original Stalker multiplayers just never really did it for me. They had some cool maps, but overall there were better games to play at the time. I kind of felt like it was just something tacked on where every FPS back then was trying to have multiplayer. I even remember BioShock 2 had multiplayer back then. They were all kind of just these tacked on modes that died pretty quickly after release, and I really think that GSC needs to just cut out the multiplayer portion of the game, focus on the single player, because that's what people play. That's what Stalker is known for. I don't think I've ever gone on YouTube or gone on the subreddit and seen people talking about the multiplayer ever, even when the games first came out. I could be wrong on that, of course, but the single player needs fixes badly, really, really badly. So they've got the multiplayer they want to release, and on top of that, they have DLC that they want to release. And even on the note of DLC and single player and all that, right now, there's just a lot of content missing that was present in the original Stalker games, and people going through the game's files, data mining, whatever, they've been able to find that there's actually remnants of this stuff that was supposed to be in the game. Things like binoculars, night vision, mutant looting, all of that was supposed to be in the game, and it's not. I mean, obviously, it seems like they've cut A-Life, and it makes me a bit worried right now. Are they even going to implement A-Life into the game? I've seen that modders have already done it to some degree, but it takes a massive performance hit on a game that's already very hardware intensive. I mean, I don't know how they're going to pull this off. Are they going to change the system requirements like they did a little bit before release? Are they going to just kind of have it in a limited capacity? Or are they just going to drop the idea altogether? I don't know what's going to happen with Stalker 2, but whatever happens, it's clear that right now we are not playing a finished product. And again, I have to stress, I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm not saying that to be rude. I understand what's going on over there with GSC and Ukraine and all that. But right now, the game is not finished. I do like this game. It's not that I want to. I do like this game. I like it a lot. But unless you're like a super die-hard Stalker fan, wait for this one to go on sale. Wait, at the very least, wait a month or 2 or 3 or 6 even for them to get some of these bug fixes and patches out there. Because right now, it's a shame. I invest time into the game and I enjoy it, but then I get to a point where I can't play it. I can't progress the way I want it to. Part of the Stalker series is player choice. You get to choose what kind of action you want to take. Do you help this guy? Do you not help him? Do you save the village? Do you not save the village? Do you speak to someone? Do you search something out? Do you choose not to? And right now, with quite a few quests, that's not the case. And that's just from what I've played thus far. You cannot make those decisions because some, and I emphasize, some of those quests are broken. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh my god, game's unplayable, whole game's broken, it's trash, throw it out, uninstall, refund. No. The game is playable to a point, but there are certain options that are going to be limited to the player, and that's not okay. That's not good. But that's why after 40 plus hours, I cannot recommend Stalker 2 right now. Emphasis on the right now part. Hopefully GSA can pull this thing together. Hopefully they can update it, give us some more patches, and hopefully they can add in some of those features. I'm really upset. I mean, the mutant looting I could do without, to be honest, but the lack of things like night vision and binoculars, I mean, those were like core tenets of the original Stalker games. You could upgrade your night vision. You know, binoculars, scouting out an area was very important. A-life was very important to the overall experience, and it's just not there right now. But that's just my take on Stalker 2. Really didn't want to be that negative in this video, but kind of have to be. So that's that. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Stay safe and get out of here, Stalker. Goodbye.